Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another daily chat, the new and improved daily chat. Now with more Luke.
Here I am,
Finally,
everybody. Here I am.
You can have
Finally.
Luke in your diet.
In 4K. Are we in 4K? Are we in 4K?
We're definitely not in 4K. Calm down.
Oh, whoa. Hang on a minute.
720p.
I thought this was a professional organization.
No. If you want, we can run at 4K.
I'm not being paid enough for this.
5 frames per second. It's more
I'll
like
take
a
it.
bunch of. It's more like a few good stills.
Yeah. As long as I catch the right side, I'm fine with it.
All right. Let's make sure that we are being heard. I'm assuming we are being seen. A couple of you, please let me know it's all good, and we will get going. Hi to everybody, to all the usual suspects.
I've already been in the chat. I'm already saying hello to them.
You have. Where are you? What's your...
My YouTube account's on the standard tabletop. That's me.
Look at that.
Professional. Jordan, hey Jordan, how you doing?
All right.
Kabuki.
Everybody, man. Oh, Jordan's here already?
Everybody's in. Yeah, that was quick.
I was hoping to get through like 20 minutes before Jordan found out we had gone live. We didn't manage that this time. We'll get him next time. If you guys have any questions for us, let us know. We will be happy to answer most of them. Luke, have you done anything with the Gen Con Online stuff?
No, I was hoping to, but the times are a bit funny. You know, obviously.
True, right.
And the ones I would have liked to have done, they're booked up.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a special little preview of Hello, because I was speaking to Sam. I think you've met him before. And
I don't think so.
Sam Wheely.
Sam Wheely is the guy who works for that miniatures company, right?
That's the one.
Yeah,
you got it. I said all the Hell spots were taken up, and I was like, that's a shame. I was hoping to get in one of those. So he's going to give me a little personal viewing.
Personal view of Hell, yeah. Great.
Of Hell. Yeah.
He's going to give you a private glimpse at Hell.
Yeah.
That sounds like
look forward to it.
Sam Wheely. Oh, that's cool. No, I think I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that after you check it out. Are you guys doing that like on Tabletop Simulator? What is it?
Yeah, we're going to do. Yeah, I presume so. Yeah, I presume that's how we're going to do it. It's one of those ones. It's a big one. It's an expensive one. And it looks very awesome. And there's a lot of promise. But I need to, I want to know a little bit more.
I guess you could still late pledge, right? I guess.
I backed. I did the whole back at $1.
Okay. Right.
I'm that guy. I'll support you, potentially.
Right, great. So you want to be in the room. You just don't want to add to the conversation. Great.
Yet.
You want to be at the party. You just don't want to spike the bunch. I get it.
Yeah.
You want to show up at the car dealership. You just don't want to polish the wheels.
I'm going to turn up at the party with my own case of beer, sit in the corner, drink my beer, assess, and then see. I'm going to talk to you. You can have a beer.
I like it.
I'm playing that game. I'm playing the careful game.
All right. I did see the Fantasy Flight games. I guess they attempted to do a Twitch stream. I
stayed up for that.
Yeah.
That was worth me staying up till 1:30 in the morning. Thanks for that, Fantasy Flight. Much appreciated.
They were trying. They had clearly a lot of issues with Twitch, which happens. Whatever. But even that Asmodee money is not going to rescue you from
It does.
Internet
I did think when they had their first issue and they'd said, we're not taking any questions, and I was like, okay, fair enough. And then they had their first issue, and I thought, well, if you're not going to take any questions, maybe you should have just pre-recorded this. that
sure,
maybe a slight oversight.
I assume they were there was some deal working with Twitch. I don't know. I assume that's.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I was interested though. It was some interesting things. I mean, I'm a big fan of Star Wars Armada, so I was quite pleased to see the new stuff. That looks quite. I like the format they're going with, like the faction starter boxes.
Right.
For now that they've got the Clone Wars stuff, instead of having a starter box, they're going with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They got, here's a decent amount of what you like, and here's a decent amount of what you like. It's a little bit.
Right.
It makes a little bit more sense, I think. And I think it's one of those things where it's not such a bad thing for people who are already in it. Maybe it's you're buying 2 smaller starter boxes instead of another starter box, but it's I don't think it's too bad.
I'm just happy they're still supporting all these products, all these lines.
Yeah, I was pleased to see it as well for that fact,
right.
Because I wondered if Armada was being sort of slowly pushed to the side of the photograph.
Yeah, I was surprised they
did
not.
X-Wing.
As some people are saying, I was surprised they did not have an Outer Rim announcement, an Outer Rim expansion.
Yeah, well, I think it kind of, from what I gather, a lot of people say they have sort of announced that the Outer Rim expansion is coming. I think they've already kind of made that clear that it is happening. But okay. I think certainly I was in Joel Eddy's chat Drive Through Games. He had a live thing with him and Marty, and Rodney came in, and Matt from, I forget his channel's name, but anyway, so they were doing a live watch it and stuff like that, and everybody in that chat was like, Outer Rim expansion, that's a cert. That was just a given. Right. That was safe money to gamble. And
it was weird.
Then there was lots of other speculation, but it was a little bit weird that that never saw anything more of that.
As far as the new stuff that they announced, it wasn't like just an expansion to something. It was what, X-Men, Mutants,
X-Men,
something.
X-Men Elder Sign, yeah,
which is X-Men Elder Sign, right? I don't know. I was really underwhelmed by that when I clearly showed it. I was like, oh, cool. Okay, X-Men, a dice game. Okay, yeah. I got to look at it. And
you must have realized
little red flags started going up, and then I'm like, okay, it's a Richard Launius game. Elder Sign is a Richard Launius game. I think this is a spin on Elder Sign. Are they just doing that with their Marvel stuff? Is Marvel Champions just Lord of the Rings plus, and this
Lord
is
of the
Elder
Rings,
Sign plus?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
To be fair, I don't think it would be probably unfair to say this is not the first time Fantasy Flight have done this.
Sure.
They've reskinned games before, as have, I'm sure, other companies. I'm sure other companies have done it. It's not a If you've got a proven system, and you're a fan of the Elder Sign game, aren't you? I mean, Elder Sign works for you.
I just don't. I'm not a big fan of that sort of reskin mentality, I guess, or business practices. I find it, I don't know, seedy? Not seedy. That sounds too strong, but it's like,
I don't mind it if it just makes absolute sense. Like if you like say the Lord of the Rings game, if you tweak it and you make it into Arkham Horror, it works. It's an adventure in a different world. You're just literally putting a different veneer on it. There's no reason to make a whole new game. Elder Sign is essentially just a dice game that there's nothing particular about its association with Arkham in the Elder Sign, as it were. There's nothing about it that makes you go, oh, well, this just fits that theme so well.
Sure.
So then to just use it for X-Men, it's like, well, then you've probably shoehorned X-Men into it.
Yeah, maybe Elder Sign probably
was.
Elder
Sign probably wasn't
shoehorned. I don't know, but...
Yeah, maybe. I don't know Elder Sign well enough to know, and I didn't. As that bit went on, I was just like, okay, yeah, it looks fine. It didn't make me sort of think, oh, I think I'll be buying this. As much as I like X-Men, it didn't grab me.
Some of their like new products, I'll call it, have been kind of hit and miss for me lately. Also, the new Arkham game they announced last year, which is like,
Oh,
this
what,
is
as
the
in third
Arkham in an
edition
hour one,
or
whatever that's called. No,
oh,
no,
final hour? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's discount bin fodder if ever I saw it.
that was
That's
very disappointing. This one feels that
I
way.
know.
You know what I mean?
And to be fair, I would actually say that final hour is even worse in that I don't hear people saying, "Oh, final hour, what a waste of money." I just don't hear people talking about final hour. Nobody cares about final hour, and that's worse.
I agree.
To
Yeah,
just completely be forgotten about, and an hour after you released, ironically, is not good.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think really what. I mean, I'm a Fantasy Flight fan. They do a lot of games I love, but then I'm a Star Wars fan, so
Right.
Star Wars Rebellion is like one of my favorite games of all time because it's just perfect. Um,
Yeah. The other
but
thing I'm
certainly,
the other thing I'm waiting on, which has had a couple of bumps along the road, is Marvel United. So I'm hoping for Come
oh,
On to send out a shipping update on that bad boy soon, because they had the issue with
well,
Walmart.
hang on. I was gonna say Walmart got their shipping update, didn't they? Surely you got yours, no?
No, that was
No.
apparently a mistake. They said that Walmart
Oh,
released them too early. Some people bought them. I mean, whatever. It was a mistake. They're saying
oh,
they.
is really? Is that what they said? I didn't
Are
realize
you
that.
joking or are
Oh,
you
that's
serious?
no, no. I didn't realize that. I just thought they'd given Walmart like a here you go, boom, put them out.
No,
I
no.
did not know that they said that this was a too early thing. I'd
Yeah,
heard people
apparently
say that the
Walmart
window
just
was.
started
I'd heard
selling
people
them.
say like, oh, if you got in quick enough to get one. I thought they just meant they didn't have that many and they just sold.
No, no,
I didn't realize there was anything more to it.
right.
Uh,
Yeah, they sold them for a couple of days apparently, and then
we
people
managed
were
to get a
like, okay,
couple
what's
of
going
days
on?
in.
Why is Walmart selling them when we don't even know? We didn't even know as backers that it was done being made, and apparently it was not done being made because the update was, it's about to get done, but like Walmart has them in a warehouse on this side of the world. It seemed shady. You know what I mean? It was like,
It's very
okay,
disingenuous, isn't
all
it?
right, and then
Mm.
they put out an update where they say, yeah, sorry about that, and gave people some free minis, and everybody shut up about it. So, it was fine. Unfortunately, I also did see
Here,
it.
more plastic, more plastic. Stop
Yeah, yeah,
talking,
yeah,
more
yeah.
plastic.
They have it on the Gen Con. If you signed up for Gen Con, you can buy one there as well. So that's two places now that they're selling it. So I'm waiting on that update. But I got that coming whenever. And I actually have a couple of other Kickstarters that I'm excited about finally hopefully showing up around now. I haven't backed very many Kickstarters. I've done about 20. I counted the other day. I think I've backed 20
Let
things
me
ever.
let me think what you've got coming. Cleopatra and the Society of
No, I
Architects.
didn't back it. Did not
Wow,
back
I
it.
thought that was a done deal.
I probably should have. I technically own Cleopatra, so like I
Yeah, I've
said,
got it as well.
I
That's why
really
I
do
did
not
back it in the
back a
end.
lot of things. There are very few things I back.
So you say you've got some coming soon.
I have. Let's take a look.
I can't think what else they'd be. They're gonna be kind of smaller ones or something like that. Maybe.
Let me take a peek, and I'll tell
Oh,
you.
well, did you back Trudvang or whatever it was? The come on, like
No,
Viking storytelling thing?
I
No,
did not
I
back
wouldn't
that.
have thought you would, but
So I've got, let me see, one, two. I think two of these should be coming like in September, which is good
mhm.
because my birth is in September, so that'll be good. And one of them is Marvel United, should be then.
Oh, cool. Right, yeah,
The
yeah, I
other
knew that.
one
Yeah.
is Trekking the World.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
you've
yeah.
heard about
Right.
that one.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard you and the guys talking about it, or I think you talking about it to the guys. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one, and it's like a sequel
Is
to
that's
Trekking the
the
National
follow-on from
Parks.
National Parks?
Yeah,
Yeah, Trek in the National Parks. Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
That looks good. I haven't tried that though.
And it
It
looks gorgeous. It's very
looks
pretty.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
one I'm excited for. That should be coming out soon. And again, it's nice to it's nice to have a couple of Kickstarters coming. I'm usually I
Yeah.
back so infrequently that it's just like one cycle at a time as opposed to multiple cycles at a time.
Mm.
So that's nice.
I've got one coming. I've got a Super Fantasy Brawl, should be arriving somewhere in the next couple of months by the sound of it. I don't think it's on the ship yet. No, I don't think it is. But I tried that at UK Games Expo, and I was sold. It was really, really good. If you like games like Unmatched or Warhammer Underworld, Shadespire, stuff like that, it's really, really solid, really good. It's nice that you don't have to do the deck building that you can do in Underworlds and stuff. It's just, really good fun game, really lovely aesthetic, really nice.
All right, let's see. Kabuki Kid has a question about reading, which is gross, but all right.
Always, Kabuki Kid always asking about reading.
Who reads? Who?
Not me.
The question is, Luke, have you read anything good for pleasure recently? What is your all-time favorite book? And then Z, ellipsis, read anything good recently? You might as well just ask Z. Did you figure out how to read finally? That's what that sounds like.
Have you got that? Have you got that down yet?
That's how that comes across.
I haven't
what about
read anything recently. I haven't read anything recently. I don't find the time to read very often anymore. But I catch an audiobook every now and then, which admittedly I haven't done lately. So all time favorite book of all time. I believe the last time I was on, I mentioned the K-Pax trilogy, which I love.
That's right.
Trilogy of books. But also probably one of the books I have read more times than any other book is the original Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I've read it. I must have read it at least 10 times now.
Good night.
I just love
really?
It. I've got one of these things where I'll read a book. I skim read a lot, so I'll read a book and I'll know everything that happened in it, but I'll forget a lot of the little details. So then when I go back and read it like a year later, I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, that's cool. I forgot about that. I know the things that are going to happen, but
so you don't know how to read either.
I don't ingest. I read every word I can, Z, and I do my best.
Are you a speed reader?
I don't know. Skim reading and speed reading the same thing. It doesn't take me long to read, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like flicking over pages like Johnny Five from Short Circuit.
No,
Sure.
I'm not like that. I'm the very opposite of that because I like the way writing sounds. I know that seems weird, but I want to hear it.
Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah,
I don't want to just read it. I don't want to just I don't do it for just a story. Stories are a dime a dozen. You can kick a rock and there's a story. You know what I mean? But I do like good writing because I enjoy listening to it myself. You know.
Same as I suppose. Like you like a good performance. You want the nuance of a good actor delivering a good performance.
I want like a good writer, and I can tell like, oh, this is a good word choice. Oh, that's a nice sentence structure. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting shock of a short sentence.
You've got a nice vocabulary, so I can understand why you'd be like that. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm not quick, and I haven't been reading anything lately.
What's your favorite book of all time then? Because Kabuki Kid clearly knows that. I don't know it.
I don't know.
Kabuki Kid just didn't care.
He didn't care, I think. Probably, I've read one of my favorites is actually a Michael Crichton book also, but it's Sphere for me. I really like Sphere. That one I've read a couple times.
I think you told me about that before, as in the one that got turned into the movie, yeah?
Yeah, the movie's weird, but the book is
great.
the
movie is what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, and then...
I think I meant to get that one.
You should read it. It's a good book, and Michael Crichton, you know what you're getting.
I like Michael Crichton, yeah.
Let me see, what else? One I've been meaning to read for a long time, and I haven't read yet, is from Michael Crichton, and it's a book called Eaters of the Dead, which is... They turned into a movie. It was like in development hell for a while. And then eventually they recut and did this and that and renamed it. And that's the one that's called 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas.
Oh. Wow, that movie. Wow.
Yeah, so
Oof, that
that's
didn't do
based on a
too good.
Michael Crichton book called Eaters of the Dead, and
Huh.
I've always wanted to read it. Never got around to it, so I'm not reading anything now, but I'd like to read that.
There's a really weird question. I saw it come up on the chat. I've just
Yeah.
gone back to it. Stig H says, Luke, what's the negative or destructive weather you experience where you live? Um,
Okay.
so in the UK, we don't get a lot. We have a lot of bad weather, but not like Z might know bad weather
Right,
or
right.
someone like that.
Well, that's
I
why
don't have a
this
weather.
is coming up right now
Yeah.
because we have an imminent storm coming here. So
Oh, have you?
yeah, tomorrow and
Um,
Sunday there should be some bad weather around here.
right. Okay. So where I am, we might have. Ironically, I am still sat here and not in working because the restaurant which I work at currently, just the week before we were due to be able to go to restaurants again and stuff and go back to work, we had as much rain as we have in something like 3.5 months. We had in about 5 hours,
Jeez.
and it was absolutely ridiculous. And the restaurant I work in flooded up to like basically up to your knees. So it is currently absolutely gutted. So that kind of is about the worst weather we ever really get. You'll get some heavy snow up north, up towards northern England and Scotland and stuff. But a heavy downpour that causes flooding in certain places isn't uncommon. That around here it was very uncommon. But yeah, so that's about it. We don't have things like what you're going to have to put up with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't tend to get stuff that blows your house away. Yeah.
I would rather have this, I'll tell you though, than tornadoes. Tornadoes just seem.
Terrifying.
Yeah, come on, and they
Yeah.
don't give you any warning, right? There's tornado season
They
also, so
just
you know that it's
appear.
like, so you know
Yeah,
it's
just always looking over your shoulder. Yeah.
yeah. Here, like it's hurricane season, great. Also, we get like 5 days warning,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know, and
because
yeah,
it
that
builds
kind of
up,
sucks.
doesn't it? Yeah.
That's kind
Yeah.
of some people could say
Yeah.
that's kind of worse because you're like, is it gonna turn? Is it gonna turn this way or that way? Oh, let me look at
Yeah.
all the models, the spaghetti models. What do they say? Oh,
Yeah, that's true. How many times in your experiences you've lived in Florida and you've been aware of that sort of stuff? How many
mhm.
times have you been under like a warning of hurricane that never happened? Is it
Yeah, a
more
few
often than it
times.
does?
Yeah, it's more. It may
Yeah.
be. Gosh, I don't know. It's the warning. They are very free with the warnings. Like their cone of prediction is quite. They give it a wide berth. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
you're in it. You know, be warned. Get ready.
I
Don't
suppose
let
they
it go.
have to at this point, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then nothing comes, which is great. I never will feel bad about having to get ready and then like, oh, we didn't get hit. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But plenty of times, yeah, it gets closer. They say it might come this way, and indeed it does. And so you're kind of waiting. There is that sort of anxiety of waiting. But a tornado,
Mm.
it's like, oh, tornado, it just hit your house. Okay, like in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? That's
I
nah.
I watched Twister, you know.
I
Nah.
don't want to see any flying cows near my place.
You want an oil tanker flying towards your car? No.
No,
No. Great movie though. Love that movie.
it's the best film ever made about tornadoes.
Tornadoes without marine animals in it?
Oh, Sharknado, get out of here! What are you talking about? It's garbage. All
But
right,
it
let's see. Let
knows
me
it's
catch up here.
garbage. Yeah.
Kabuki Kid is asking, ever read Cervantes in Spanish? Z. No, I have not. I haven't read a book in Spanish in a long time. Last time I read a book in Spanish was from a Cuban writer, and it's a very adult book. And it's an interesting read. It's very impactful from a Cuban writer in Cuba. It's very good stuff. I wish I recalled what it was. I know he wrote like a trilogy of books. Maybe I'll have to look him up. But that was the last time I read something in Spanish. All right, let's
Team
see.
on 6219. He said it's hot right here now, Luke. Right? I was like, yes, my friend, it is hot. It's ridiculous right now for us. Maybe not for you guys, but yeah, for us, it's really hot.
Let's see. Twister is dreadful, says Kabuki Kid. Oh, that's it. How do you ban somebody?
Can you ban the admin? Haven't they got to ban themselves? Does that work?
Put yourself in timeout, madam.
Yeah. Kabuki Kid, you go to the corner and you think about what you just said.
What is wrong with you? Twister is a classic of cinema cheese. Of course it's not good. It's
a popcorn movie. It's a great
on,
movie.
Yeah. Nice, soggy, twisted popcorn with cow bits in it. Oh, that's disgusting.
And every now and then you got to have someone who's just goes and just
that one's gone. She said it again. LOL, sorry, it's dreadful. I just watched that film maybe 3 months ago, and
Did you really?
I really did. It was on TV, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of one of those movies that I just have to watch. What are your movies? There's got to be a few movies that, like, if they're on TV, you're done looking for something to watch, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, there's probably loads.
Let's see. What do you got? For me,
it's any movie like that. It's those.
My number one for sure is Roadhouse, like that.
I've never seen Roadhouse.
If Roadhouse is on TV, like if I'm browsing, I mean, I make it sound like I'm in the 90s, but
Roadhouse isn't popular in the UK. It's not a movie we associate with, and I don't really know why, because I don't think I've ever met anybody else who's watched it. But I know so many stand-up comedians that have referenced Roadhouse from America, obviously, and stuff like that. So I feel like I know Roadhouse, but I know it's Patrick Swayze, isn't it? And he's a doorman of a club. Yeah,
right,
I know
bouncer,
so much about it. Yeah.
He's a cooler, actually, because a regular bouncer works at a bar where people don't try to kill each other. This guy's more hardcore than that. He gets hired to go to the seediest of bars and clean them up. He is, it's total, I mean, it's a product of its time, but I am telling you, I cannot be just flipping through something and have that come up and not consume the rest of that film. I can't do it. So that's my number one.
Any of the Jurassic Park movies, if I see them on, I'll watch it. Yeah. Any of them, even the newer ones and stuff like that. The Terminal. I bet if The Terminal with Tom Hanks, you know, I'd watch that because I love that movie. It's beautiful.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know. It's loads of movies. I'm a movie guy, so you know.
All right, let's see what people are saying here. Some good ones here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one. Yes. Yes.
You mean the first one, not
like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the people in the suits. Yeah.
I have actually. We used to have it might still be in London. There was a Museum of Moving Image, you know, and I went when I was very young. In fact, probably not long after that movie came out, and I got to play with Donatello's head. I got to put my hand in and do the thing that made his eyes move and stuff like that. It was awesome.
Wow.
Blew my mind as
That's cool.
Probably 10 or whatever year old boy, you know.
Huh. That's really neat.
Yeah, it was cool.
Sounds cool. Somebody says mine is First Night, which I have seen. I don't remember it that
well. Is it Richard Gere?
Yeah, Richard Gere, Sean
Richard
Connery.
Gere movie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see, what else? Gladiator and Shawshank.
Yeah, Kabuki.
Kabuki said Twister, right? Yeah.
Kabuki Kid said things like The Shining and The Thing, and
look at this list.
Movies you need to experience the build up and the tension of those movies. You can't just drop into the middle of The Thing. You know, that's no.
Okay, here, let's go through this list. Kabuki Kid, I mean, what are you doing? Here we go. You and me are going to pass judgment on this list. Just a quick yay, nay, all right? on whether we would like just land in the middle of this movie and watch the rest of it. Here we go. Jaws.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go with Jaws.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
No.
Ooh.
Star Wars.
Yes.
No, I've seen it too many times. Goodfellas.
Oh, absolutely. One of my greatest movies of all time.
No. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No. No, it doesn't mean one for me. It's a good
build.
movie.
I need the build for that. I gotta watch it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Shawshank.
Yeah. Again, I want all of it.
I will watch
Shawshank
Shawshank from anywhere. I'll just watch it from anywhere.
I probably could, but I wouldn't.
Godfather.
I love it, but again, no, I'm not gonna pick up The Godfather a third of the way in. No.
The Shining.
That one about bad tackles in UK football. No,
I haven't seen The Shining in so long, but I don't think I want to watch it.
No, neither have I.
No. Somewhere. The Thing. I also haven't
No
seen
way.
in a while.
What? Oh, right. I thought you haven't seen it for a second.
I saw when I was a little kid, actually. I saw when I was still in Cuba, this movie. So I was like 10 years old. And then Rocketeer and Superman. I would say yes to both the Rocketeer and Superman. Yeah.
I don't like the Rocketeer. I'm not a big fan of the Rocketeer, but Superman, yeah, easy.
All right, what do we got? Tremors. Yes, Tremors. I can never skip Tremors.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings movies as well. Almost any of those you can drop in wherever you like. Because to be fair, even if you drop in at the end of Fellowship of the Ring, technically you're only a third of the way through the story.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I've still not seen all of the Hobbit movies. I think I saw one.
What, like as in?
I just haven't seen them. They just didn't grab my attention, I guess. I was kind of happy with the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, and the Hobbit didn't quite build me up to it again.
There was something about, I don't know what it quite was, because I love Lord of the Rings and I love Hobbit. I nearly said Lord of the Rings was my favourite book of all time, but it's just too much of a pain in the butt to read. And also I skip so much of it because I don't bother reading the songs, so it's hard to justify that as my favourite book of all time.
Songs are the
Hobbit,
best part.
No, they're not, sir. They're the reason I managed to finally ever finish reading it. The Hobbit, I actually could say is one of my favourite books of all time.
Yeah, because it's very short.
It's just, but it's just a great story, though. There was something, I know they added stuff in, and I don't mind a lot of what they added in. I quite liked the adding in the White Orc as an ongoing protagonist throughout it, because the Hobbit doesn't have that. Right. And that's I think they probably could have done it in 2 movies, but naturally they want to get their bang for their buck. Right. Fine, they made it 3. It lost some magic somewhere, and it's weird that I would actually say some of the CG was worse. The green screen CGing was worse in The Hobbit than it was in The Lord of the Rings, which came out considerably well before The Hobbit.
Well, I know he was
like a lot of the bits for like the barrels in the river. That a lot of those bits where the elves are dancing around them and the guys are moving around. The green screening is pretty. Mm-hmm. It's pretty ropey. The keying of moving the figures of it's jarring, and it took me out of it a lot of the times. Right. But I still love it. I still think it's great. I think Martin Freeman was perfect as Bilbo. He was so well cast. A lot of the other dwarves were really well cast as well.
He's good in anything.
Cumberbatch voicing Smaug. Yeah,
I like him a lot. I was actually just watching a couple of episodes of Black Books. Just randomly had on the beginning of the first season, the first 2 episodes, I think it was, and he has a cameo bit in the first episode of Black Books.
Does he?
Yeah.
I probably haven't seen the first episode for so long.
You remember with the show how it starts with like the guy being neurotic? Yeah. He's like, Little Book of Calm. I need the Little Book of Calm. Right?
No way.
And he swallows it, the Little Book of Calm, and he goes to the hospital. And the doctor at the hospital is Martin Freeman. Yeah.
No way. Oh, I might watch the First episode of Black Books tomorrow.
Timeless Air just subscribed. Thank you very much, Timeless Air. Appreciate it.
I just watched all of the Sherlocks, the British Benedict Cumberbatch, and Martin Freeman as Watson. There's just the casting of the two of them is just perfect. The chemistry between the two of them, it just nailed it. Casting throughout that show is so good, but particularly those two, the key actors are just exquisite.
I think it lost me a little bit when they were doing when they went really heavy on Moriarty. That one episode at the beginning of one of the seasons where it's, I don't know, it felt weird. It lost me on that episode, but I should watch it again. I should pick it up again.
The only one of them I don't really like is I'm not actually a big fan of the last one. It didn't do it for me. It lost a lot of
last episode.
No, the last episode. I don't think it just wasn't as clever,
right,
as a lot of them.
I love how Nick is sharing the fact that he's like, I may have mentioned this before. I read the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy while soaking in the bathtub. Not in one bath. Whenever I took a bath, I read Lord of the Rings. And then somebody, of course, immediately, Gator Dave goes, TMI, Nick. And I tend to agree with the good Gator. At least he did not say he read the entirety of 50 Shades of Grey in the bathtub. There's that. That's true.
This is true.
That's definitely not something you want to say.
So just to clarify, Nick, where did you read 50 Shades of Grey? I just want to get the whole picture.
He went to New Zealand. Oh my goodness. All right, let's talk games, man. Let's talk about some board games. What have you been playing lately that you've been enjoying?
Well, as you know, I received my copy of Atlantis Rising the other day, and I cracked out for a solo game the other day. That was great. Mm-hmm. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was, I've kind of cooled a little bit on co-op games. Okay. I played Horrified at a get-together back in November. And with Mike Delisio, in fact. Maybe that's why. And I didn't. It didn't do it for me. It's not necessarily a bad game. It just felt a bit lackluster on it. It was just a bit like, okay. Since lockdown, obviously, gaming's been a bit limited. But I've managed to play Reichbusters for the first time, finally, with a friend the other day who'd been looking forward to playing it as well.
You enjoyed yourself, yes?
I really enjoyed it. It's one of those games I kind of knew I was going to like it because I'd seen enough to know it was my kind of thing. But I certainly had some issues that I echo from your review. But luckily,
don't patronize me.
Because it.
I know what you think of my opinion. I don't need you to pull the wool over at my eyes.
Luckily, though, because it taken so long to get to it, people like the Esoteric Order of Gamers or whatever his name is, his player sheets are just the best. Why does he not work for somebody?
I agree. It seems
weird. I don't get it. He's clearly a very talented graphic designer. He's clearly a very talented proofreader. He knows his stuff. And in fact, Dan and Mike had him on Sporadically Bored, their podcast, and he was really interesting. Seems a really nice guy. It was a really interesting podcast. And why somebody hasn't picked him up more often, even on a freelance basis,
I agree.
Seems ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Criminal, in fact.
Maybe he does, and we don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't remember him mentioning them. And I'm sure they discussed it on the podcast at least. But yeah, so
and very good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. It just made life so much easier, and there was a few other things that people had made that just meant we didn't have so much looking up to do. So yeah, it's that was great, and we just had such a blast. It was such a lots of telling the story of what happened. Oh yeah, she kicked in the door, and then he chucked in the grenade, and then just a
Right.
lot of that. It was really good fun, really good.
Good.
Yeah, that's about it. And play some games online, but not much.
We got a couple of questions here. Let's throw them up. Let's knock these out. Gator Day says,
What
"Does
we
Luke
got?
have
What
a
we got?
favorite doctor?"
As in Doctor Who or my GP? My general practitioner. He's lovely. He's really, really nice guy. He helped me out. I've got a back problem, which I take medication. He was the one who's figured that out. He's Dr. Bellina, little.
So chiropractor's your favorite.
Yeah, sorry. No, he's not a chiropractor. He's a general practitioner.
All right,
Dr.
my
Bellina
favorite
of
is
George's Medical Service. He's a legend.
acupuncture.
I don't like Dr.
I have an
Who, so
acupuncture doctor. It's more like a guru. That's how he likes to be
I had
acknowledged.
acupuncture once.
Yeah, I have it. I mean, on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite doctor. No, he means yes, Doctor Who, of course.
No, I don't. Just because I'm British doesn't mean I like Doctor Who.
You're supposed
Doesn't work
to.
like that, I'm afraid,
You're
people.
supposed to.
No.
Right? I'm supposed to have a favorite brand of cigars because I'm Cuban. Would you like to know what my favorite straw hat is?
You do have a favorite brand of rum, though. That might be a bit stereotypical. I don't know.
Say, wrong. Oh, how Cuban.
But you don't like Cuban sandwiches, so 6 of one, half
I
a
don't
dozen
like
of
pork. That's the thing, which is very
Yeah.
un-Cuban of me.
Yeah, there you go. See?
All right, here we go. There's another one from Gator Dave. He's bringing the heat. What gaming fad have you cooled on? Legacy, roll and writes, lots of minis, games with beads, which is definitely a fad.
I tell you what I have cooled on. None of those specifics. I don't like roll and writes anyway, apart from the odd one or two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to cool on lots of minis because that's what I love. I've cooled on the FOMO. I've cooled on the having to buy everything, having to have everything.
That's good. Oof.
It took a while to get there, but after a while, you just certainly, when you've been in it for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
you start to suddenly realize you're like, well, you see a new game, you're like, oh, this is really cool, and then you start to realize you're like, oh, well, this game kind of does that anyway. And oh, well, that's basically that from so and so, and that's that from so and so. So it's, now it's much more a case of when something new actually comes out. That's when something actually I see something, I'm like, that's interesting. And that don't happen too often anymore. Really, I don't think. There's some games I could look at and go, that looks like a cool game, but is it a better worker placement game than the 4 worker placement games I have got, or the 5, or the this game, or that game? It's
I think for me, the one thing I've cooled on is sort of just little anonymous card games. There's too many of them. There's so many little card games, and this one has.
And that's
there's
a bit you were probably pretty good with at first, weren't you?
I think now I get that whole like I get the.
You were quite good at finding little gems of these, weren't you? At least not necessarily that they make it. People make out that that's all you like is little card games and that's it. But you clearly found quite a bunch that you were like, I like these little games, kind of thing.
True. I wasn't like buying card games out of the backs of vans or anything. I was just looking online, but I do like
well,
those.
Obviously, you're going to say that.
I
you don't want this to be admissible in court.
I may or may not want to speak to my lawyer now. No, I just those kinds of games, much like you're saying, you've sort of cooled on the FOMO because you point at other stuff that's sitting on your shelf and you go, well, it's like that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about a lot of these new little card games. It's like, oh, this one has these gorgeous trees with this motif in which you are, replanting the wild habitat of the honey badger, and it's like, okay. I haven't seen that theme, but this game is basically like this other game, except trees instead of cows,
Exactly. And
So
I love
I've
theme.
cooled on
Don't get
that.
me wrong. I need to be immersed in a game, and I love theme. But if you just like, it's like the X-Men thing with Elder Sign. I'm not that fussed about X-Men because it's just Elder Sign potentially. Obviously, we don't know too many details, but it's just that thing. I'm just like, well, yeah, fine. Unless the thing comes along, I'm like, oh, actually, that's a much better theme. Which, admittedly, X-Men would be for me than Elder Sign, but
Sure.
it's got to do something. It's got to, But don't get me wrong. I also consider this to be an amazing position to be in. I mean, I've been in the hobby for a long time now, so I've got a lot of games. But it, and it, it's nice to know that just there's that much out there for people to explore and
Right.
people to do all these things, because people don't all have 350 games in their collection to just go, I've already got that game.
Right.
That still doesn't mean it's not something amazing for somebody else. So it's their first worker placement game, or it's their first game about bees finding pollen, or
So do you
Cthulhu trying to take
think?
over the world.
Let me ask you this. So let's say you.
Or that there's so many amazing games out there, and there's so much that's been done already, that it's that hard to do something genuinely original now. That's how good it's been for the last, let's say, decade.
Mm-hmm.
That now the well isn't dry. It's just that now you can't get away with just whatever. I mean, you can, because it will sell if you put it on Kickstarter. But
Sure, and if it's pretty, that'll still sell
yeah,
games. So let me ask you
yeah,
this. Let's say you're reviewing games and that game comes out that in a bubble, that being the only game you've ever played, is a solid game, real fun game. Outside of that bubble, it is a spin on, I don't know, pick your flavor. Ticket to Ride, whatever.
right.
It's like Ticket to Ride ish,
Right.
very
So
similar idea. So is that a good review or a bad review? Should it be a positive review or should it be a negative review?
it'd be a middling review, which is, I would say, the worst kind of review. So it's a case of, yeah, fine. I mean, the theme is what it is. If that theme matters to you more or not or what, but essentially the game is basically Ticket to Ride, which is an evergreen game, and the variations within it aren't enough for it to stand out from the crowd. That's a bad review as far as I'm concerned.
What about if it's a game not a lot of people know, but you as a reviewer are aware of? Does it get a free pass or more of a free
It's
pass?
hard. Where it's hard to quantify how many people know about a game, but at least I would go with, if you know for a fact that until this game hit this this release, it was only ever sold by that guy who always had that corner table in Essen in Hall 4, and he always had he brought his 40 copies along that he handmade every year.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's that, then fine. It's a new game as far as I'm concerned, because essentially nobody knows about it. Like a Battlestar Galactica Express, the print and play versus Dark Moon. It's different when you take something and go, right, well, let's finish this and put it to market.
Right.
If the original one was so hard to find or in short supply, it's because it wasn't good enough in the first place.
Yeah, but I guess
Maybe,
you're talking
or
about
at least part of the
literally
process.
talking about literally the same game in that case. I'm talking about games that come out now and they're lovely little games. They're just very derivative. And you play them and go, that's cute. And I'm sure if I had only played 2 other games, this would be amazing. I would be shouting it from the rooftops. Also, I was bored of this 6 years ago. Like, where does that land, right? And I'm not just asking you. I want to hear what people think about this stuff, too. I think it's an interesting debate. It's sort of an interesting conversation. What side of that do you come down on? Obviously, there is no real answer. I know that. You kind of have to judge? Does it seem earnest, or does it seem like a ripoff? Were these people aware of the game that this is very much like, or were they not? Right? All those things come into play. But should games be reviewed in a bubble? Ultimately, that's the question. Should a game be reviewed on its absolute own merits?
No.
You're saying no.
No. I don't. I think as a general rule, no. No. If there is quite clearly correlation between the games, then it should be pointed out. Even if it's just to say that it's an alternative, you can't just disregard. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing all the reviews for? If you're just going to throw away all the information you're collating in your head, and it makes you a more earnest and knowledgeable reviewer.
I wouldn't go that far.
There's no point in playing thousands. There's no point in playing hundreds and thousands of games.
No, there is no point.
If you're not going to ever relate them to each other. It's
No, that's
it's one of those. It's a near impossible question in many ways.
It is. I just think it's an interesting question, and everybody kind of has a slightly different version of really the same answer. Yeah, you cannot review them in a bubble, of course, but it is interesting how I could have, like, a review I do, the exact same review is different depending on who's watching it. It's not just the same review, you know what I mean? A game I'm knocking might be fantastic for someone who doesn't have a point of reference to the ones I was sort of propping up this one against, which is fine. But it is tricky to figure out where you fall into that. Let's see. Bonzobo21 says, a good example is the new Lizard Wizard. Looks great, but if one already has Raccoon Tycoon, or even if someone is tired of the magic alchemy theme, it may not be worth it for them. I agree with that.
I haven't even heard of Lizard Wizard.
Yeah, it's like Raccoon Tycoon, but with wizards. That's the elevator pitch. I think that's what it is. CW says, I think there are parallels between books and movies and games. If it's too similar, it's uninteresting. And then Kabuki Kid has an actual question, so we will take that question. It's a question I'd like, actually. What is a movie sequel that was better than the original?
That's an easy one. Empire Strikes Back.
Never heard of it.
It's just a little art house movie. It came out.
Was it the one with Doctor Who and that like? Let's get the
who?
Doctor Who has like a glowing stick, and he like erases your memory with it.
You got it.
I thought the first one was better, with all the aliens. For me, it's got to be Terminator is the first one that comes to mind. Terminator 2 just blows Terminator 1 away.
All right, Terminator 2, absolutely. Yeah, that's not even contest. Yeah. Godfather 2. Yeah, you can make arguments for Godfather 2. I wouldn't necessarily say that for sure.
What else?
In fact, some movies I've just started watching with my son. We just started watching the new Star Trek movies because I thought he'd really like them. The Into the Darkness was way better than the first one. The first one's really good, and I really like it.
Right.
But Into the Darkness, where you add Khan in, get out.
Yeah. He's really good in that movie, too. He is so good in it. He killed it.
Yeah. I'm a massive fan of the Alien universe, and a lot of people would say Aliens. And although technically it's my favorite because I loved it so much as a kid, because it's guns blazing, Marines, right. Queen, get away from her, you right. Dice Tower friendly episode. Right. Alien is probably actually a better movie. It's more suspenseful. There's more.
It's going for different things. I don't know if I would say
exactly.
It's better.
Aliens,
it's going for different things.
Aliens is a product of its time. It's a product of what was really in at the time, where it was real big action. Terminator 2 and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I will say it's more inventive. I think Ridley Scott, the director, just had to be more savvy with directing because he had fewer resources. The movie's older.
Yeah.
So it's like he has to be trickier, right? He has to get you to be scared of this Muppet with, the special effects available to him. So, That's really cool. And the movie is spooky. It's well made. It's intense. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I like
As
Aliens
Kabuki says,
better.
yeah. Because as Kabuki said, Aliens a horror film. Aliens is an action horror sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. They're not.
Let me see. What else? Best cupcake flavor, says One Pip Wonder. All right.
What is that? What?
Best cupcake flavor.
I don't really like cupcakes. A muffin. That's the best cupcake flavor. I like muffins, but I don't like cupcakes for some reason. Not sure why. It sounds like I'm being like a troll there, but I'm not. I
don't actually know what cupcake. I thought it was just cupcake flavor.
What?
What flavors are there?
Yeah.
Like red velvet, that's a flavor, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not really. The actual cake itself doesn't actually taste any different, does it? It's just got a load of red food coloring in it. Isn't it?
I don't know. You're the one who cooks. So why are you asking me this
true.
stuff?
I know.
I just eat the stuff, okay? I don't care what color it is.
Baking and cooking are two very different things, sir.
Well, excuse me. I don't know how an oven works. Oh.
I wish that wasn't a true statement, Zee.
Come on, man. I've been baking, man.
I know I look
bad.
I look like I probably eat a lot of cake, but I don't eat a lot of cake. I eat a lot of other bad things instead. Cake's not my jam.
Pigs in a blanket, or toads in a hole. Right? What is it?
Toads in holes.
It's like a piglet in a Scrabble board.
No, toad in the hole. Pigs in blankets is a sausage wrapped in bacon, or it's devils on horseback or angels on horseback, which is sausage wrapped in bacon, or devils on horseback is a date wrapped in bacon, or you got toad in the hole, which is sausages cooked in a batter in the oven to make a Yorkshire pudding with sausages in it, with a good onion gravy over the top. Do you know nothing about UK culture, sir?
Cricket in the well. What's that?
That's when a grasshopper falls down your water repository.
They haven't named food yet after this? Ridiculous.
No, I can't. I'm trying to think if there's anything cricket based.
That's
probably
gross.
is.
All right, carrot cake. So One Pip Wonder said carrot cake. If carrot cake is one of the possible choices, that's my favorite. I love carrot cake.
Yeah. Carrot cake or a walnut cake I like as well. Like a walnut coffee cake. Yeah.
Jalapeno with cream cheese wrapped in bacon.
Yep.
What's that?
I am on.
What's that
I'm
called?
on board with that. What would we call that? What's Spanish for pig?
Puerco?
Puerco something.
You can say the word caliente, right? You know that word?
Why?
Caliente,
What's
right?
caliente?
Means hot?
No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
How do you not know that one? Most people know that one.
Because, we don't learn a lot of Spanish in England. A lot of the kids do now, but we didn't when I was
a kid.
Yeah, but
Spanish is like one of the, caliente is one of those you kind of pick up. Ooh, caliente. You never heard that one?
True. No, I probably, if I thought long and hard, I probably could have thought about that, but no. Sorry, buddy.
What about gracias?
I know that one. Let
me see. What about C?
Yes. Cheers.
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 What about jalapeño envuelto en tocinillo?
Something to do with a jalapeno.
Wrapped in
Maybe
bacon,
stuffed with
son.
cream cheese.
Wrapped in bacon. All right, everybody. We have gone literally everywhere and nowhere tonight. You know what I mean?
That's what we do.
We've talked about everything, and
we even talked about some games.
And we've arrived at nothing. That's what I'm trying to get across. That's ultimately the takeaway here.
We started and finished with exactly the same thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually no. Now we've lost potential. That's it. We started with potential. We've got nothing.
It's true. Somebody just say rum cake is fantastic
Nah.
and delicious.
I
That I agree with.
I don't like alcohol in desserts. I like alcohol, but I don't like it in desserts.
Really?
No.
Rum cake
it
is
doesn't do it.
rum cake is good. All right, everybody, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us. So Chad, I'll answer that one. That'll be the last one. Is it pop, soda, cola, Coke, etc.? What do we call it? They call it pop in Michigan. True. I call it soda here where I am. What do you call it, Luke?
So if it's a generic
Yeah.
that means for all of them, it's a fizzy drink.
Fizzy drink.
Yeah, fizzy. Yeah, it's a fizzy drink. Yeah. Some places might call it pop if you're in the 1980s. But
There you go, Chad. You're old.
Cola
Great.
and Coke is a thing. That's a flavoring. Or a specific.
Wow. So basically,
It's
you're saying Chad Stilson is stuck in the 80s. That's what you're saying. They're stuck in the 80s in Michigan. You're a dreadful
Pretty
man.
much. Pretty much.
And this conversation is done. Toad in a bucket with you, sir.
Frog in a bucket. Toad in a hole.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. We will see
everybody.
you on the next one.
Take care.